Drop it.
FUT Hello everybody and welcome along to your regular dose of FIFA Ultimate Team goodness. We are FUT In Review, powered by FUTcoaching.com. My name is Dan Wimbush and welcome along to our 440th episode. We've got lots to get into today. It is week 2 of Futties, so we've got a brand new best of to discuss, some brand new dynamic duo action, plus a few other SBCs and a set of objectives that will leave you very much scratching your head. To guide us through this wonderful world of footies, with me today is Amar, otherwise known as Captain Saveman. Amar, good evening to you.
Hey Dan, thanks for having us on.
No, the pleasure is all mine. Long time no speak. How is FIFA life?
Yeah, it's okay. I haven't enjoyed it since the new patch as much. Not that I disagree with the changes in the patch. I just think it's not forced, but caused everyone to play much more defensively. Games can be pretty dull now.
Yeah, I mean, I've found it a bit better. I think there are some moments, again, to borrow a thing I used in the intro, that leave me scratching my head. Some of the things that do get blocked, don't get blocked, don't make a lot of sense. I love the new skill move, as that really opens things up. But unfortunately, I just think, there's only so much they can do in a midpoint of a game. And, we are in, to use the cliche, FIFA in July. So, look, we can only hope that the feedback they're getting around the style and the meta, affects what they do for FIFA 23, which I'm sure they'll be in the final stages of fine-tuning, in a game that never finishes tuning, to be honest. But let's get into Footies week 2. But just before we do, a big thank you to all of our Patreons over at patreon.com/FUT In Review. Those are the people that go above and beyond to not just show their support, give us that morale boost, but also put their hard-earned cash on the table to say thank you to us. And not just to say thank you to us, but they get a raft of rewards, including things like discount at futcoaching.com, merchandise, shout-outs, appearances on this show, and lots of other goodies, depending on how much you pledge and how long you subscribe for. Just head over to patreon.com/FUT In Review. And a special extra thanks to Reese, Artyom, Daniel, and Nick, who are Skybox holders. That is the top tier of support. So, Amar, it is Footies week 2. Everyone always comes into Footies with a lot of hype. It's one of the times of the year where we get these super juiced teams. But just before we delve into what we've had to start week 2, I mean, what was your overall vibe from the first week?
I thought the pack weight was pretty disappointing, if I'm really honest. We mainly look back on things from the previous year with a bit rose-tinted spectacles, but I do remember the drop rate being a lot better than this last year. Really, I opened quite a lot of packs and really didn't get anything of any use.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I saved all of my fodder packs from the Silver Stars summer swaps.
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah,
and I got lots of pretty looking cards and a couple that were semi-useful, but nothing that was, oh, wow, this guy's going to get into my team. And I think that's the trap that we always fall into in footies. I think I did see lots of people saying, this is worse than other years. What are they doing? But they always do this. The first week of footies gets us to use the phrase, what is it, premature epaculation. It gets us all to get through our fodder, get through our packs, anything we've saved, because we see all these shiny specials in, and then very quickly we realise, these cards are garbage now. They're not actually of any use to me other than for SBC fodder. So my brain knew this, but it didn't stop me ripping all these packs anyway, because I'm at the point where I just didn't want to hold on to packs anymore. I think the bigger thing that disappointed me, rather than the pack weight, which I do agree was a bit low, especially for the top tier cards, and I did so many campaign bags, so many Premier League campaign bags, and I got so mgoing goalkeepers in return. But the thing that really disappointed me was I didn't think there was actually that many good player SBCs released. We're going to talk about one in a minute in Kingsley Coman. But other than the Luis Diaz card that was released as an SBC on the opening night last Friday, it's been pretty dry. We had the Fulham player, Carvalho, And then Kingsley Coman. Yes, you did have the Reece James, Mason Mount, dynamic duos, and Mbabu. Just, your squad battles rival objective. But there wasn't... I was expecting like a player or two a night just to really spice things up and give us a reason to put these high-rated cards we were getting in packs to use. And I don't know, what do you think? Am I expecting too much too soon?
No, I totally agree. And like me, you're still playing. So how often do you see Luis Diaz?
50-50. Yeah. He's in my team, but I've seen I don't see him that often. Rare.
And I'm not hearing great things. I mean, if you're using him, you might say something differently, but I hear this word a lot more since the patch, which is clunky. I think with the boost to left stick dribbling, your Insigne type players are going to feel so much better. So if you've got Bale, if you've got Diaz, if you've got even Salah, in comparison, they're going to feel really heavy. I don't know if you feel the same.
I do understand to an extent, but I use them as pure wingers.
Right.
So they are very much get down the byline, put a ball in, or cut inside. They're not really in and around the box. But, you mentioned clunky. I did move Bale out from a central position. And I did try Diaz. Yeah, I tried Diaz through the middle as well. But, there was something missing. They're kind of stuck in that weird area between the absolute powerhouses, pure finishers like a Cristiano Ronaldo, and the players you mentioned like Insigne. So they kind of don't quite give you either of what you're after. But we are in the time of the year where you're splitting hairs over tiny differences of these god tier cards that have been released. But as I said, I just other than Diaz, I mean Koeman as well. I think the good thing is they've all been really reasonably priced. But I don't mind it if EA actually release a 99, like we had last year with the 99 Ronaldo and the 99 Messi. I don't mind those cards being out, even if they're 1 million coins worth of fodder, because it just gives you something to grind towards. And all we've really had this week in terms of that tier is Puskás, who is probably in line with the power curve, maybe even slightly below. So, yeah,
value-wise,
just nothing inspired me. No, exactly. And as I said, I just would have enjoyed a real sort of big gun to grind for over these next sort of 2-3 weeks. But let's talk about Kingsley Coman then. You are a connoisseur of the Bundesliga by virtue of running a German side through most of this FUT cycle. Obviously French, Mr. Koeman, but 110,000 coins to do this card. They hyped this up as a boost to his traits rather than anything else. And I think initially what puts everybody off is the fact that despite being 96 rated, he is a 4-star card. Is 4-star 4-star enough just to make you completely pass this card by?
I think the price is so good, right, for a 96 rated. I get what you mean, because we want juice cards. So like if you're someone like me, I'm not a big skill move guy. So I'm on the lookout for these 5-star weak foot cards. People who like skill moves are on the lookout for 5-star skills. And with this, we've got neither. So I can see why people are disappointed, but he looks very good for the price. But it's a question we always ask: does he really improve that many people's teams? I'm not sure he does.
Exactly. I think he provides nice links, and I think it's a really good fodder dump because it's just a single 86 rated squad. So if you have been doing some of these campaign picks and you end up with a rogue 92 dupe, it's quite handy just to put in to guarantee yourself some fodder. But overall, I just think he's just kind of there. I guess Bundesliga isn't, other than Abedi Pele, they're not blessed with a lot of fantastic left wingers. So that does give you an option there, but it's just one of those cards where if you're trying to build your end game team, and we are in the end game, if we are ever to be called end game of a FIFA cycle, they're taking pre-orders on the new game. So we are literally 2 months from the end of this game. He's not a card that you're going to aspire to do. He's going to very much fill a role. And if we do have any Bundesliga objectives, he's going to be very nice to have. So I mentioned it when we were talking about Diaz earlier, we are very much splitting hairs about cards like this, but things like just having 4/4 are the kind of things that in the end of July, start of August, will just make you go, meh, there's someone better out there.
It seems insane, doesn't it? A card with maxed out pace, maxed out shot power, 99 agility, great physicals, and we're sitting here going, meh. Yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. His passing's great. In terms of his stats, but I'm looking at that, I think, if I use him, I'd just shove him out wide.
Yeah, the extra strange thing, of course, being that in 2 months' time, we're going to be sitting there looking at cards with 86 shot power and going, wow.
We're going to be looking at gold Kingsley Coman and going, oh, that's a nice pull,
that. Fun, obscure fact of the day. Kingsley Coman was my first walkout in FIFA 22.
Oh, right.
Get him on. There you go. Absolute pointless Wimby-based trivia there. So I think we've generally it's a bit of a meh, do them if you've got fodder, but don't go out of your way to spend 100,000 coins. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think, let's say you saved your fodder packs for the second week and you open them and you do what happened to me and you get like 18 dupes. Then, shove it in that free bit of 96 fodder.
Yeah. Agreed. So there wasn't actually anything else. I mean, the guys, John and Ingvi, did a show on Monday. We've not actually had an awful lot out since then to wrap up week one. We've just had lots of various player picks and campaign bags and hero SBCs and all of the things to get you to part with your hard-earned fodder and empty your clubs. And, credit to you if you pulled a great player. If you haven't, unlucky. I'm one of you. So moving on to week 2, then we have had a best of release. Now, some people were quite surprised, myself included, because I ripped a couple of promo packs dead on 6 and I ended up with a ones to watch Upamecano. And my initial reaction was, he was in specials last week. He can't be in this one. Compensation, baby. Here we go. Then I navigated my way over to the website and it turns out that he is still in this batch. He's in the best of batch 2. There are still 150. Yeah, there's 150 cards in this. A lot of what we have seen in the past week remains, but they have added lots of team of the seasons and a few of the better hero captains and things like that. So no shapeshifters in yet, but there's the likes of team of the year Kante still in there, for example. Whereas the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, you can now pack his team of the season card instead. So just be wary of that because I know there is a Futties Team 2 SBC player pick out there. So a lot of people might just jump straight into that thinking all of those junk cards you packed last week are gone. No, this is, you got a 1 in 50 chance of getting something decent, given that there are 3 picks out of 150. But, Amar, again, am I being a little bit fussy, sort of hating the fact that they've still kept some of these older cards in there?
Yeah, I didn't know that. It seems a bit tight, for want of a better word. That I'm not really sure why they've done that. We've had so many promos over the years, well, over this FIFA. Surely there's more than enough cards to go around.
It just dilutes the quality of those top picks of the likes of the 86 pluses and those who are still holding fodder packs. That's the only real objection I've got. Not that I've got any of those packs left, but if you'd held an 85 by 10, you would have surely thought, okay, well, all of the fairly rubbish cards have gone. I'm now going to get team of the seasons. And yes, there are bad team of the seasons, but I've got a chance of packing something different. But you hold it, you open it, and you find how I got 5 dupes. So does seem a bit curious. It's always nice to have better cards in packs, but again, it does feel a little bit dubious that all of these are in. So anyway, you can go to the website for a full list of the cards in there. I do not have time to rattle off the 150 cards. Maybe I'll save that for a bonus show. Imagine that's how the commentators must feel when they have to record all of the lines before the game, reading out every single player name.
Yeah, I wonder if they reuse them. Because FIFA 21, we had new commentators, didn't we? So they probably would have had to go from the very start. But I guess into FIFA 22, they reuse a lot of it.
You would certainly think so. So yeah, the best of the batch 2 is in there. Now we have had a new giant dynamic duo as well. They both come from Brazil and both play for Atletico Madrid. In Renan Lodi, the left back, and Matthias Cunha, the cam. Now they are both in that premium Futties. I can't remember exactly what they call them. The ones with the little crown on, where they basically act
premium,
like
heroes. They're the same as
heroes,
heroes,
they act like heroes, so they give you strong links to anybody within that league. So very useful if you are building a La Liga side or if you are building a Brazilian side as well. Initial reaction to these two players, Amar, either you're going to grind one or both of them?
No, but that doesn't mean that they're bad. I think it's a bit of a strange one. When I looked at the dynamic duo last week, Reece James and Mason Mount, my first thought was I'd actually rather have Reece James and Mason Mount if I were to pick between those two.
Mm.
And I feel the same way about this. I think Lodi, as a fullback, looks really good. And Cunha, as a cam, you'd have to play him up top with 46 defending, really. If you're in a formation with no cam, you're a bit stuck, really. He's not really that much used to. I don't think you could play him as a striker.
Yeah, I mean, 94 rated card. He's got 5-star skill moves, 4-star weak foot, lean body type, 6 foot. But as you mentioned, just 46 on defense. The aggression a little bit lower, 84 as well, strength 82. I mean, look, in amongst lots of very, very good stats, everything above 90 in the dribbling, everything above 90 in passing. Well, actually, that's not true. 82 in long passing, actually. The shooting is all up where you'd want it to be. But yeah, I think I agree. You'd kind of want him up front, and then
it's not really on the same level as other cards, is it? 94 finishing, 94 shot power. I mean, there's loads of cards on the market now that are above 97 for those, 97, 98.
It feels like pretty much what we've just talked about with Kingsley Coman, in that very good, but probably not someone you're going to want to put in your final team in this game.
No. I guess if you have Vinicius already, or you pack Vinicius, you might do this.
I don't think he's going to be bad. I don't think he's going to be bad. If you're running a 4-1-2-1-2, narrow, you could certainly do a job at cam, but there is just nothing that screams, I really want to do that card. And I agree. I think Lodi is the best of the two, not least because he gives you that perfect link to Eder Militao, who's widely regarded as one of the top 5 centre-backs in this game. La Liga also not blessed with an awful lot of left-back options.
So is that what it does? It perfect links for same nation and same league?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. That's really good then. So yeah, I definitely prefer Lodi in that case.
Yeah, 94 rated. Again, all the attributes where you want them to be. Heading, maybe aside, just 84 heading accuracy, but he's not going to have to do too much in the air at left back anyway. You chuck a shadow on him, he goes to a 97 rated left back. Tells you all you need to do. It's a free card. You get Lodi by just scoring 15 goals in that friendly mode. So something that's only going to take you sort of 15, maybe a bit more than 15 minutes, no more than an hour to get done. The requirements for both these guys are very similar. If you did the Mount Reece James, I'm not going to read them all out, but it's a very similar sort of time commitment to get them both done. I think I managed to knock them off in just over an hour last week, so they shouldn't take you very long. So again, even if you're just doing them for fodder, well worth getting them done. Because they're probably going to give you, a better card than you're going to get from grinding out something like squad battles or division rivals these days. And we've also had another player released through Objectives. Now, this is the division rivals squad battles player of the week, and it's a player who surprised everyone when he came out. And I'm trying to think off the top of my head, Amar, and you might be able to remember Thiago Jalo. Was it a player of the group stage card he got?
I can't remember what he had, but it was very annoying to play against. I remember being very irritated by him.
Yeah, it was. So Portuguese centre-back playing for Lille, someone that would give you that
I think
perfect
it is
link
Team of the
to
Group
Renato
stage.
Sanchez.
I think I have it in my club at the moment.
Yeah, it was an 85 rated squad, 85 rated card, but that was notable for having 87 pace at the time. Although, again, I didn't see it in very many teams, so it was obviously a card that had a few flaws to it because it didn't stick around very long.
Yeah, links maybe might be the problem there.
Quite possibly.
But he was very annoying to play against. I remember, like you say, it wasn't loads who played against him, but he was in the way a lot.
Yeah, well, this card is 93 rated. He has 92 pace, a decent pace split as well, 90 acceleration, 93 sprint speed. So again, if you chuck a shadow on the card, gets maxed out pace, which is what you like to see, becomes a 95 centre back with a shadow. Again, heading maybe a slight bit below where you want it to be. The jumping's only 84 and the heading accuracy with a shadow goes up to 88. He is 6'3" though, so that might compensate for a few bits of that. Passing's very good, again, above 90 in both short and long passing. Curved down at 67, so you can't have everything. The only other obvious thing I can see, that might hold you back from doing this card, Amar, is the balance at just 78, which again, at this stage in the game, when you can pick up a Militao fairly cheaply, might just make you think twice.
I don't think his defending stats are very good. Like 90 defensive awareness. That seems really low.
It is. I'm looking at this through the shadow tinted glasses.
I see.
It takes up to 95.
Okay, but still, I mean, if you've used, I don't know if you've used like Chiellini or someone like that, he's nowhere close to that level.
No, I agree. And he's not substantially better than even the likes of Jules Koundé's team of the season, which is one of the sort of first cards I thought of when I looked at this. His kind of
Rudiger.
Splits.
Rudiger's much slower, but I would much rather use Rudiger than this.
Yeah, so the 6'3" height does help him. And it'll be interesting. I'll probably get this done just because it's just something a bit different to do. But there does tend to be a flaw in these cards that EA releases in squad battles or rivals. There just always seems to be something because they don't like giving away god tier cards for free.
Well, we know what's coming next. The fact that they've released him. Right. There's another Portuguese.
A Jose Fonte card? Jose Fonte?
Well, yeah. There's a Portuguese midfielder at that club who is very favoured by EA, so we know that's coming soon now.
Yes. Yeah. So again, I think it is seven games of squad battles or rivals you'll have to play to get Jallo done. So again, a 92 piece of fodder. And if you did do the squad battles, you'd also get a few packs on Sunday as well. So if you're looking for a break from Weekend League or rivals, again, a decent way to just casually play the game. Worth doing, but I think, again, it's not a player that's going to break into many final 11s. So aside from that, we have had the Brazil Cup objective release. Now, we had the PL Futties Cup last week, which drew a lot of frustration from people because it's a 5-game limit per day. They're all 90-minute classic games as well. And to get the top tier rewards, you had to win 26 out of 35. And Amar, a lot of people were looking at this thinking, that's surely a typo from EA. Why have they done this? They can't, this must have been a mistake and they just don't want to correct it. Well, if you thought that, think again, my friends, because the Brazil Cup is the same 5-game limit, same classic matches, but instead of needing 26 wins out of 35, you now need 27 wins out of 35.
I think this game limit's a nonsense, really. We know why they're doing it. It's their stats, their KPIs, or people logging in every day. And I can't play every day, so I miss days. So even if I were to, go 100%, I probably wouldn't get to 27.
Yeah, you miss one day, you've got to then win 27 out of 30. So you can lose 3 games out of 30,
insane.
Which...
and there's no matchmaking, skill-based matchmaking. So it's fine for... you and I play at a pretty similar level. We're not pro players, but we're decent players. So I could go into the Futties Cup one night or one of the older ones and maybe win 4 out of 5 or even 5 out of 5 sometimes. But if you're a casual player playing Division 5 or something like that, you've got absolutely no chance of getting anywhere near that 27.
No. And I waver on this because part of me does think, well, it's nice that they reward the players that play the game the best with better things. But I think just in the spirit of fairness, it can be quite disparaging, disheartening for some people who aren't as good at the game to see this and have, no chance of getting it. So, I just think it's time. I mean, I was fortunate enough. I got 26 wins in the PL Cup with a game to spare, and my rewards were garbage, folks. I got out of 7. So there were, it was a 92 plus pick, which had 3 options, and a 93 plus shapeshifters tots with 4 options. I got 4 goalkeepers out of 7 and didn't see a single shapeshifter. So please don't sweat this one out thinking that you're going to miss out on the best rewards in this game, because you're just not. So if you do think, well, I'm away at the weekend, then just relax, because you're not going to miss out on anything. The one good thing, Amar, though, is they have relaxed the requirements for this, haven't they, slightly?
Yeah, the full squad of 1 club, wasn't it, for the Premier League? I must admit, I didn't play a single one. I saw the squad requirements, just left it. I couldn't be bothered to go and spend probably a few 100,000 coins to get a full squad.
Yeah, I was very fortunate to have, I think I had like 8 or 9 Liverpool specials lurking around. So it didn't cost me too much to go and finish it off. But I just then felt sorry because I'd be playing someone with basically a gold Leicester squad. And, I was just like, this is just not fair on them. I'm happy to take the basically guaranteed win, but it's just not,
If you think of players who have got the game because it's gone on Game Pass or PS Plus recently, there's no chance they're going to have a great team, even if they're not bad players. And then they've got to spend almost all their coins to get an 18-man squad. And then they're just going to come up against someone like yourself and get destroyed, really.
Yeah. Not good. But like you say, it's been relaxed. I think it's 11 Brazilians now. So I'm not sure if you can get away with other nationalities on the bench.
You must be able to, yeah. Because that's how I read it.
Yeah, we're recording at 7:30, so on Friday night. So apologies. But yeah, go have a dig around. So yeah, team building is less. However, the requirements to get those top tier rewards are that much harder. Now, of course, you do get rewards along the way, so it's worth giving it a go. Because even if you end up with, 10, if you end up with 10 wins, then you've got yourself 3 player picks along the way. So, it doesn't do any harm at all. 18 wins gets you a 92 plus shapeshifters efigs tots pack as well. So I think that's a pretty reasonable, winning 18 out of 35, winning half your games.
One of 3?
Is a good reason. No, that's just a pack.
Oh, so
it's
just
a pack on its own. Yeah, just a single one. If you get, yeah, I can't remember. I got St. Juiced out of that
sure
pack.
Many people
did. Yeah, nothing to write home about, put it that way. So look, that's available. Other thing that's worth noting is, of course, we have had the new season released. And I can't even believe seasons, if anything, just annoy me, Amar, because all I get is having to claim these stupid tifos and balls and
with
nonsense
with pack
I just
animation.
cannot be bothered with. The walkout, a ball walkout, thank you. And just again, in just a sign of just how out of touch EA are, or well, they're either that out of touch or they're that tight-fisted, because the level 15 and level 30 players, bearing in mind, you're going to be getting your level 30 player at the end of August. They're all garbage. They're so bad, Amar.
I think, was it Koulibaly's one of them? Or was that last season?
So this time around, you've got Gonzalo Higuain, You got our good old friend Raja
Right.
Nainggolan,
Oh no, I have
who
seen
is
that card.
unfortunately
Yes.
not. Yeah, he's not even Nainggolan gang though, because
Yeah.
he's not all 90s. He's got a few stats
And
in the
that's for level
80s,
30.
and yes, that's level 30, and I think it's Diangana from West Brom, left winger, is the other level 30 player, but none of these guys have a 5-star in either weak foot or skill moves. They're all in fact, they're all 4-3, which again, as we've just been talking about, if we're turning our nose up at Kingsley Coman, these guys have got no prayer of getting anywhere near a team.
And I've never actually hit level 30. I play the game quite a lot, but I've never ever got to level 30. So it is like quite a big grind, because you have to. I don't pay attention to like when you get towards the end and it's like score 3 goals with a Spanish player who has a Brazilian brother,
Yes.
and all this. I can't be dealing with any of that. So I never make it to level 30.
No, and these guys just prove why you shouldn't even sweat it out. Again, as we just said with the PL Cup, it would be nice for EA to really reward those people that put the grind in. Just give us a 95 rated, I don't know, 95 Vinicius Jr., even if it's worse than his team of the season. Just put that card in there for someone who, if they are still playing this game and grinding hard in the middle to end of August, they can feel rewarded. But no, it's just, I get the feeling these cards are planned. Probably they give this to somebody in a department, like an intern, in like September, and just say, pick out some players that we think should be objectives throughout the year. And because they're just, anyway, I don't even think that we should waste any more breath on it. Look, they're there, they're going to be fodder. They'll go into an icon pick or something, and that's about that. So that wraps up content for the past week or so. The major talking point, though, Amar, has been FIFA 23. Now, John and Ingvi touched on some of the things to do with the cover and the launch, but we've had a few more details since then, with the trailer dropping and some supplementary info as well. I'm just going to rattle off some of the key points that we know now for sure. So the game will release on September the 30th. The 27th of September for those who buy the Ultimate Edition and have early access. The game will include a World Cup mode that will be released as a free update post-launch. The game will also include women's club football, including the Super League here in England, and I think the top division in France as well, plus perhaps more to come later on. We've got Hypermotion 2, Electric Boogaloo. The major talking point, which we'll dig into in a little bit more detail shortly, which is crossplay coming to FUT, with a big asterisk related to that one. New heroes as well, including, it looks like, a link up with Marvel. Again, something we're going to dig into in a minute. And some details of some new heroes are in the game, including Ricardo Carvalho, Park Ji-sung, and Yaya Toure. Now, if you pre-order before a certain date, I cannot remember the cut-off. It is at some point towards the end of
21st.
August. 21st of August, thank you. If you pre-order the Ultimate Edition, now there are just 2 editions this time around. It's just the Ultimate and Standard. If you order the Ultimate, you get a World Cup hero card around the 11th of November. You get dual entitlements, so you can play the old gen and new gen versions. You get a one-to-watch card, 4,600 FIFA points, a one-to-watch Team 1 player, Kylian Mbappe loan, and a choice out of a loan of one of the FUT ambassadors, who this year are Alphonso Davies, Vinicius Jr. and Heung-min Son, so a loan for that. And we also get a career homegrown talent player. I've never played career mode, so I don't even know what that means. And that will cost you £89.99 if you're here in the UK. Of course, if you are an EA Play member, you get 10% knocked off. And if you order through the FIFA menu on FIFA 22, you also get 10% off, which you can double up. So I think it works out being around about £72, £73 if you use that double discount. So definitely worth doing. Of course, EA Play members also tend to get around 10 hours, isn't it, Amar, of pre-release access?
Yeah, you get 10 hours on each one if you've ordered Ultimate. So like last year, I played 10 hours on old gen and 10 hours on new gen.
Yeah. So with that, along with the discount, I think it's a $5, isn't it, for EA Play if you're on PS, and you get it bundled in if you've got Game Pass on Xbox as well. So definitely worth doing, just even if you just do it for a month, just get your early access and that discount. Very much recommend that. So, as mentioned, a couple of big things to get into, but what was the main sort of standout thing you noticed from this release content we've seen so far?
From the trailer itself?
Well, or just anything we've seen.
Anything we've seen, I'd say 100% crossplay is the big thing. Something that we've been crying out for a long time. Most games have it now. FIFA was sort of lagged behind. I do find it strange that PC has its own market.
Yes.
I feel like that's an unfair disadvantage, really, for a PC player. As we know, PC market is way more expensive. So they're going to be competing against a guy. Let's say that guy's got Neymar, and they've paid 1 million coins for him. And if he's 2.5 million on PC, it's a bit of an unfair advantage.
Yeah, so just to dig into this a bit more on the crossplay front. So it will be crossplay across generations. So PS4 will be able to play Xbox.
Xbox One.
What is it? I can't even remember. Xbox One, that was it. Or 1S, 1X, whatever they were. And the PS5 will be able to play Series X, Series S on Xbox and PC, which is moving to the new gen. PC, of course, this year was stuck on old gen, but they will be making that boost over. And as you touched on, the transfer market is going to be cross-play as well. However, whilst the market will be cross-play across generations, it will not affect those on PC or Nintendo Switch, who will have their own transfer market. So you could be on PC playing against someone with access to a totally different transfer market. EA haven't really explained why this is happening, Amar, but reading between the lines, my strong suspicion is that basically this is an admission from EA that they cannot control the bots that exist on PC, and they are worried about the impact that bots might have on the wider transfer market if they allow PC in there. Again, I do not know that for sure, but that is my hunch.
Yeah, I agree with that, but you can't use a bot on the web app as well, so you could manipulate the console market as well. I don't really think it's I think cheaters in gameplay are more of a concern than transfer market.
But they're allowing players in. They're allowing PC players in, so they're worried about game hacking. I said it's just I can't understand the rationale why.
No, like I say, if they are unable to stop cheaters in the transfer market, then surely they're unable to stop cheaters in gameplay. I know, for instance, Draft on PC is where most of the cheaters will use their exploits, but there are other exploits that are rumored. Obviously, I don't play on PC, I don't know. Always green timed or max stamina and stuff like that. This kind of stuff is things that people have spoken about existing that we don't face on console. So are they very confident that they can stop that, but they can't stop a transfer bot? I don't really understand.
Yeah, now look, we're going to get more FIFA pitch notes as we delve deeper and closer towards release. So maybe they're going to explain this. I imagine they're going to have to explain it. A potential reason why. Although whether they will outright come out and say, look, we can't stop the bots. So I'd be surprised if they came out and said that. But yeah, so PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series XS and Stadia will all share the same transfer market. It'll be interesting to see how that mixes things up with a sort of a greater transfer pool. Now, I mean, the Xbox transfer market is generally about 1/7 or 1/8 the size of the PS market. So if you're on PS, it's probably not going to make too much of a difference. But if, like myself, you're someone that's traded or, bought fodder and things like that on the Xbox, I think it's going to be a little bit different on our end. But again, as we see it sort of implemented, we will, of course, here on FUT In Review, delve much more into that. Crossplay as well means that things like leaderboards are, being mixed up as well, although you can stick to your same gen. And that's an important note as well. You don't have to opt into crossplay. You can opt out of it as well. And my only question with that, Amar, is, again, do you think, is it going to be an advantage if you opt out?
I was going to ask you the same question. As someone who plays on Xbox as well, I played on PlayStation last year and I played on Xbox this year. And you often hear from guys who play on PlayStation that Xbox is much easier. I don't think that's the case really, other than if you're a very, very top tier player, because of course all the pros play on PlayStation. And that's what makes it even stranger. Like, why did they bring that rule last year saying competitive FIFA is only on PlayStation? They must have, like crossplay, they didn't decide to do it last month. They must have known when they brought that rule in that crossplay was in the works. So why make that rule for this year?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to be fascinating as well, of course, because, if you go to a pro event, you've got, and there's been no inclination it's going to change. You could be beating all the best players on PS5 from your Xbox, but you're going to then be forced to go to, if you qualify for a pro tournament, you're then going to be forced to put down your Xbox controller and try and pick up a PS1. So it just seems, it does seem a bit silly. So look, again, we won't spend too much time on this because, when we get more answers, we'll look into it a bit deeper. The other thing that caught my eye was this Heroes link up with Marvel, which has inspired quite the meme frenzy on social media. People speculating that we're going to get a front three of Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland in your all Spiderman front three. But let's knock the elephant out of the room. Amar, do you see any potential that FIFA EA would chuck in fictional characters as playable players?
I would enjoy that though. I honestly think most of the cards now are fictional players anyway. Right? I mean, take the cards that we got today, like Raphael or Mateus Cunha. I mean, he has nowhere near those stats in real life. That might as well be a made-up person.
True, although I think that it would be FIFA's jumping the shark moment if we did see Spider-Man or Hulk as a card. I just think that it would, as you say, a lot of these players are in the fantasy world, but they're actually, they're half grounded in reality. I would really, really hate it if they did this, but like you, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that this link up will see things like TIFOs, kits.
We saw it with Heroes
all
this year already, where they mock them up as comic book characters. I think if they were to do it, which obviously they're not, but if they were to do it, I guarantee within those packs there would also be something like EA Man. I absolutely guarantee it. I think it's a very niche reference, but if you played old wrestling games, there was AKI Man. So I guarantee there would be EA Man, and every pack would, or every second pack would be EA Man and not Hulk.
Like EA Man would have to be a goalkeeper because he'd just be the most frustrating thing in the world. Just the unbeatable goalkeeper. So anyway, that's what we know on FIFA 23 so far. Again, I don't want to delve too much into this because we're gonna get they've kind of hinted at they've outlined when they're going to sort of update various different things through those official pitch notes. So plenty for us to get into. FUT In Review isn't going anywhere over the summer. However, John is taking a hard-earned vacation at the moment, and I am going to keep the ship afloat for the next couple of weeks. However, given that it's been a real slowdown in terms of content, we are just going to go to one, maybe two shows a week, and there might be a few surprises and new bits and pieces along the way. But Unfortunately, we're not going to be sticking to any sort of regular release schedule, but please do stay subscribed to the feed because, as I said, we will be popping up at least one show a week. Whether that ends up being a Wednesday, it'll probably be a Friday because that's when we do get new content. But, we'll still be around, put it this way. And, of course, if you remember our Patreon, you get Discord access, and the Discord is very active. Even now, we're, in the end of July, and it's still active across all of our different forums that we've got on things like trading and squad building and pack pulls and just the general chat as well. And of course, the pro club scene from Team Foot Coaching, and massive congratulations as well, by the way, to Team Foot Coaching, who picked up their first win in the Pro Clubs League 1 this week, a heroic 1-0 victory yesterday. So congratulations to all of the guys there on picking up that hard-fought first win. All the games are being streamed on the FUT In Review Twitch channel as well. And of course, we'll do our best on socials to keep you updated with how that's going on. And, just mentioning pro clubs as well, Amar, what we didn't mention is the fact that crossplay isn't coming to pro clubs, which has caused quite a stir in itself.
Yes, I'm very disappointed about that. I used to play pro clubs with my friends on PlayStation. I moved away to the Xbox, so wasn't able to play pro clubs with them anymore. Was looking forward to crossplay so that I could rejoin them, but unfortunately that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, and again, EA haven't explained why. And I know there's been a petition launched by one of the community managers. It's getting a lot of traction. Hashtag Save Pro Clubs is trending, or has been trending as well. And this is just a frustration because EA just dropped these random bombshells, like the whole PC won't have a shared market, and they don't explain it why at the time. It's just, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Don't you worry. There's a reason for it. And, whatever. But, we could say this till we're blue in the face. Until these guys get competition, they are not going to change their ways. So there is a whole show dedicated to our thoughts on the current state of FIFA games and football games in general that hopefully you'll be able to hear soon. Watch this space. So that just about wraps up, I think, today's show. I think actually one thing we didn't mention, Amar, at the top of the show was that we did have the new vote winner out, SBC Rafinha, 185k. Thoughts in brief on that? PSG, Brazilian, one of those premium footies. Enough to excite you?
Actually, it's really good. I genuinely think he looks really, really good. If he was a bit better at defending or a bit better at shooting, then he's a really excellent card. Right now, you're sort of looking at him and you're saying, do I want him to go forward or do I want him to stay back? A little bit like Guerrero. I don't know if you did Guerrero.
I didn't. I did do the pull though,
pretty
which again
similar,
has,
right?
does remind me a bit of this card.
High, looks good at defending, good at shooting, excellent passing. I just wonder, do I want him to stay back or do I want him to go forward? Only thing, if you like skills, definitely going to have him go forward with the 5-star skills. But I think it's really good value.
Yeah, agreed. 180k if you run any sort of a league and team. Just worth it. I used a pull this week and he's just fantastic. The only reason I've dropped him is because I'm at that stage of the game where he's just not a player that I want to use. I don't know too much about him in real life. So I'm kind of slowly gravitating my team towards just my favourite players.
Reading past and present.
Well, I mean, Reading don't have any. The only special cards Reading have got in this game, both of those players have moved on in Josh Laurent and John Swift. So I feel, they're dead to me now. They've gone into SBCs, both of them. They can go into their Stoke and West Brom teams. But anyway, as soon as we start descending into Reading FC talk is the time I know it's time to wrap this show up. So look, anything else you want to bring up before we ride off into the sunset?
No. Thanks again for having us on. Always a pleasure.
Pleasure is all mine, my friend. Now, just again, another sort of housekeeping matter as well. You may notice if you are watching this on YouTube, well, I hope you've noticed if you've got an hour in to this point. We're not on video at the moment. And again, we're going to be doing a mix of audio only and fully fledged video shows going forward. So all the shows will still continue to be available on YouTube, even if they're just audio. We'll have a slate up on it so you can just sit and listen to it in the background. But again, we're just sort of mixing and matching up things. So again, keep an eye. They'll always be on your podcast feed. And again, a Patreon bonus is you get the show a day early as the audio feed as well. So another reason to head over to patreon.com/FUT In Review. And of course, if you do want to get better, not just at this game, but of course, it's giving you skills to teach you across FIFAs, across generations, head over to footcoaching.com, book a session with the guys. They will teach you core mechanics, key skills that are good. And Amar, I know, you've just been through a program yourself, so can fully attest to the fact they give you more for just FIFA 22. It's across FIFAs.
Yes, there's no talk about overpowered mechanics or current meta. This is how you do basics perfectly. And until you get to the point where your basics are at a desired level, which is basically not doing them wrong ever, then you can move on to more advanced stuff.
Indeed. And again, I've been through a session with John as well and can very much attest to again, not being paid to say this at all, can attest to how it really does. Even just a single session will really open your eyes up to just some basic things that you take for granted or have had in your game that are just holding you back. So again, footcoaching.com for more information on that. Again, we will be back at some stage next week. I cannot tell you for sure the day, but please stay tuned to our socials at FUT In Review. Again, subscribe across whatever platform you do so and leave us that 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you digest us. Give us that like and thumbs up and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/FUT In Review. But Amar, just one thing left to do.
That is to drop it.
We are going to drop it.
Drop it.
FUT In Review.